journey. I don't know why I'm holding my hair like this. This is so weird. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a kind of like chit chat advice kind of video because I've not done one of these in a really long time and you guys seem to really like them. So I was like, do you know what, I think it's time for this side of me to come out again and do a video like this. Okay, so today's video is going to be about something that I think is getting harder and harder to do for our generation, especially with society being the way it is, and that is to be able to achieve self-love. It's something that is so important and may sound quite simple, but it's actually really hard to master and get your head around. And I think especially with things like social media, there's like a constant comparison that everyone has, especially for the age of like young impressionable people, especially when you're in your teens and stuff. It's very easy to compare yourself to people that are just a bit unrealistic in any way, whether it's what they do in their like day-to-day life, their career, their looks, anything. And I think it's really important to remind yourself of all the reasons why you are enough and why you are perfect just the way you are, and not need to constantly have this comparison going on in your head. So I have made some notes. Oh my gosh, I thought I nearly deleted all the notes. I made a few notes on the things that I think have helped me to get to the place I am with self-acceptance and self-love. Obviously this is a continuous journey. I'm not saying that I am like, I've got to the point where I love everything about myself so much, like there's not a single thing that I would think I would like to change in a particular way, but I would like to think that I have come such a long way with that, and I'm in a place where I do feel like I love myself, and way more than, let's say, this time last year. I would say that 2019 for me was a very big year for myself, like my self-development in every way. And if you guys have been following my channel, then you probably know that anyway. So I want to just talk through the things that I've kind of learnt that helped me to get to this place, and hopefully there'll be a few things in here which you guys can kind of put into practice and might help you with your journey with this as well. So the first thing is, never put yourself down, even as a joke. You know when loads of people say stuff like, oh, I could never do that, like, oh, you do that so well, I could never, like, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not talented enough, or I'm not clever enough. Like, even if it's like a passing comment, like, oh god, I could never do that, don't speak it. Don't speak it into the universe. Because, so one thing that I believe in a lot, which I'm going to do a whole separate video on, is law of attraction. And that is basically where you believe that what you say, what you speak into the world, into the universe, comes back to you. So if you put out that negative energy when you say stuff like, I could never achieve that, or I could never get to that place, or I could never be good enough for that, or no, I hate myself, I hate this about myself, you're putting out that negative vibe, that negative energy into the universe, and it comes back to you. It actually makes you believe it more and more yourself. The more you say it, the more you put yourself down, the more your mind actually begins to believe it, and it will actually impact your performance on things. Like if you say, oh, I would never pass that exam, like I could never be a doctor, I would never be good enough. If you were to actually flip it and say, I'd really like to be a doctor, I think that if I put my mind to it, and if I really try, I'm gonna get there, like I know that I could do it, you are more likely to actually have a higher success rate if you do that, rather than if you speak out that negativity, because it makes you genuinely embody what you're saying. Like, you don't realize that what you say has a bigger effect than just saying it. It actually makes you believe it. So putting yourself down in whatever way it could be, even as a joke, is something that you should stop yourself from doing, because it actually leads to you believing it and feeling it within yourself. Whereas if you flip it and you don't do that, then you slowly start to think of yourself in a more positive light, rather than constantly putting out that negativity in association with yourself. Okay, next one. I think this is such an important one, and it is, don't dislike the things about yourself that aren't standard. So the things that make you unique, that aren't typical in a person, aren't things that you should be ashamed of or that you should try to change or hide or diminish about yourself. Those are the things that you should use to empower yourself, and you should embrace them and use them to lift you up. Let them be your strong point, like your secret weapon. Let them be the thing that carry you forward in life rather than drag you back. So I'll give you an example. Features on your face which are less standardized, a little bit more imperfect, or about your appearance in general. So I'll give you an example for me. So the thing that I have never liked since I was little about myself is my nose. I have never liked my nose, the shape of my nose, like from the side as well. Like I used to hate my side profile so much, like so much. I would deliberately, when talking to people, I'd be conscious of how much they're seeing me from the side. I would try to change it so that they constantly see me from the front. I would never like any pictures of me from the side. I was so conscious of my nose. The other thing is my height. I used to hate my height. For those of you guys that don't know, I'm quite tall. I'm 5'9", and especially being a Gujarati girl, that's quite rare. Not quite rare, it's very rare. And I always saw it as a negative thing. Always, both of them things. I hated them about myself so much. And I would say, in particular in the last year, I have learned to embrace both of those things so much. And now they're two of the things that I love most about myself. And that was so hard to get to this place, when now they're things that I think are my favourite things about myself, rather than things that kind of set me back. I'll give you an example. A modelling agency said to me that their favourite feature about me was my nose. They were like, it frames your face perfectly and it fits, it gives you character. And you know what? It's so true. Whenever you have unique features, it gives you and your face character. It makes you stand out. Think about how there's all them people that look exactly the same. And that's no shade to anyone. Like, that kind of beauty is beautiful. You know, that typical Instagram beauty? Like, of course, they're absolutely beautiful. But if you don't look like that, don't try to put yourself down because you don't look that certain way. That's their forte, that's their thing that sets them as being special. But you have that too. Just because it's not the same thing as them necessarily, it's something unique about you which sets you apart from them, which therefore gives yourself like a unique side. Does that make sense? Like, it makes you you. And no one else can be you better than you can. So there's no point trying to change yourself to be like somebody else when you're the only person that can do you. Because at the end of the day, remember, beauty and everything about whether you like something about a person or don't is subjective. So beauty is in your character. It's in things that set you apart. So embrace them things and don't let them hold you back. Okay, so the next one is relatively short and sweet, which is respect yourself. Don't let anyone treat you below that level of respect that you deserve. And remember that you set the standard for how other people treat you. That is a quote that I absolutely love, and I will put it here on the screen. If you're going to take away anything from this video, I really hope that this is one of them. It's so true. You set the standard for how other people treat you. And I never understood that. And I never like agreed with it for the longest time. I was like, but that's not true. Like, if someone treats you badly, like, that's got nothing to do with you. That wasn't your fault. I'm not saying that the blame is placed on you, but there is something that you can do about it. And it's knowing how to behave in those situations, which allows people to realize how much respect you're demanding for yourself. And then it makes them realize they can't treat you badly because of how you represent yourself. If you know that you won't deal with, like, you won't put up with certain shit, they're not going to try it because they know, like, oh, she won't deal with that. Do you know what I mean? Like, they have enough respect for themselves that if I pull a fast one over on them, they won't let it slide because they know what they deserve, so I'm not going to try. Does that make sense? Whereas if people think, oh, she doesn't have enough self-respect or self-worth, she doesn't know how much she deserves, kind of almost like you're too much of a passive person, people can take advantage of that, and then that's when you get stuck in a situation where there's a lack of respect for you. But you set that tone, you set the standard. Okay, the next one is something that I struggled with so much, and I still do struggle with this a lot. This one is like a continuous journey. I don't know why I'm holding my hair like this. This is so weird. It's a continuous journey for me, and I'm working on it. I have come a long way, but I'm not at the finish line just yet, but I have improved a lot, and that is, don't seek validation from other people. So all you people pleasers out there, me included, this is a big one that can come in the way a lot with your journey with self-love and having confidence in yourself. And when I say seeking validation from other people, I mean stuff like valuing other people's opinions, etc. too much. Like, it's fine to ask other people for their opinions or for advice and things like that. That's completely fine, don't get me wrong. But if their opinion is very different to yours, don't feel like theirs is right and yours is wrong. Don't let what they feel or what they say impact how you feel about yourself or how you see yourself, or automatically assume that then you're in the wrong and they're in the right. A lot of the time I will be thinking, like, I'll give you an example, yeah? So with me, I'll think, oh, this has just happened. Do you think I should, like, say something, or should I just leave it? Like, I don't really know what to do. And then if you're like, nah, like, that upset me, like, I want to say something about it, like, I want to stand up for myself, like, I want to say something. What do you think? Because you're not too sure. Imagine you're not too sure, so you're asking someone, like a friend, family member, whoever, like, what do you think? And if they're like very confident in themselves, if they have a lot of self-confidence, especially if they're quite an extroverted person, they've got a loud personality, you begin to listen to what they say to more effect. Like, you think that they're right because of the way that they deliver themselves and they carry themselves. So they're like, what? Are you actually dumb? Like, of course not. Like, why would you say something about that? That's stupid. Like, don't say anything. Notice how they're putting you down as well, and they're asserting themselves over you. Don't give in to that. And then you'll end up being like, oh, yeah, no, you're right. Like, I shouldn't say anything. But your gut instinct, like, you knew that you needed to say something. It's not to do with that person, it's to do with you. And you should trust your own instincts and what your own gut is telling you. Don't always take what everyone else says as like gold compared to you. Trust what you want to do and what you think, your opinions, like what you feel is right. Trust that instinct in yourself. Don't always seek validation from other people. And also, at the end of the day, people are going to chat shit regardless of what you do. Like, whether you do something or you don't, someone will always have an opinion on it, and they will probably voice it, and they will have a problem with it. There'll be someone somewhere in the world that will have a problem with what you're doing. So you might as well do what you want to do. I love that quote. Like, I see it all the time, and it's just so true. Like, someone will always have something to say, so you might as well just do what makes you the happiest, because who cares about anyone else? And it's so true. Ignoring other people's opinions and their like nitty comments and stuff is the best way to be happy in yourself and love yourself, because you're accepting yourself for how you feel, what you want to do, and you're not listening to other people's opinions. Okay, the next one is a little thing that I found is very helpful when you're trying to get to a better place with self-love. And what that is to, at least once a day, say out loud all the things that you love about yourself. So maybe look in a mirror if it's to do with a physical thing, or even just to vent it, to say it. Look at yourself as you're saying it and be like, I love the fact that I da 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 da, like have a list of all the things and just speak positivity about yourself into the universe. And that eventually allows you to believe it. So even if you're not fully convinced, if it's a place that you want to get to, like let's say you want to love your nose, you want to love your height, but at this point you don't, wake up every morning and say, I love my nose and I love my height, because height is something that so many people want and people are jealous of, and I shouldn't be ashamed of it or wish that I didn't have it. I should embrace it and use it as one of my strengths. And my nose gives me character. It's not no standard nose. How many people have a nose like this? I love my nose, and I'm gonna let it be the strength in me and the thing I love most about my appearance. Even if you don't believe it, say it to yourself every day out loud, like actually voice it, speak it into the universe, and eventually, like I said, law of attraction, it will come back to you. If you speak it, you eventually begin to believe it, and then you embody it, and you will feel so much happier in your own skin. Okay, the next one it's a big one, and it seems simple, but sometimes it's easy to lose sight of that in our day-to-day life, and that is, do more of the stuff that you love and that makes you happy. So whether that's what you do in your day-to-day life, or the people that you surround yourself with. Make it all be the things and the people that you love most. So cut out any toxic relationships, whether they're friendships, family connections, romantic relationships, whatever they are. If it's toxic and you feel like it's doing anything negative for you, even if it's stagnant, if it's not lifting you up, then you need to just take a second look and evaluate if that relationship is really doing you any good and bringing you anything positive. Is it bringing you happiness, or is it doing the opposite? Evaluate them things, because the people that you surround yourself with affect how you see yourself. If you're constantly around people that are putting you down and put themselves down, that's going to have an impact on how you see yourself. Whether you realize it or not, over time it can have an impact. So make sure that you surround yourself with things that you love, because that makes you love yourself, it makes you happier, it makes you just feel so much better in life, which makes you love yourself more. So don't settle for things that you're not happy with, whether it's friendships, relationships. Don't settle. You don't need to settle. You've got yourself. So don't feel like you need to be around people because you think you've got no other choice, even though you really don't like their company, if you're being completely honest, or they're really not doing that much for you, or they make you feel kind of shit. Why are you with them then? You don't need to be. You don't need to rely on anyone for your happiness. Do things like go to the gym, work on yourself, make yourself healthier, happier. It actually has a positive effect on your mood when you treat your body well, when you go to the gym, you eat healthy, everything like that. When you exercise and health is a priority, it actually changes your emotions and your mood as well. So remember that that's another thing that's very important, to look after yourself physically, and mentally it will come with time. Also, a reminder to make yourself a priority. I feel like in this day and age, it's so easy to feel so stretched thin between different people, different priorities. There's so much going on in life that you need to do, where you need to be, what needs to happen, who you need to be seeing. You've got a long list that a lot of the time it's easy to just forget about yourself and your general needs. I felt like I'd got to that place recently where I was constantly like, oh, I need to do this, oh, but now I've got work, but now I've got this to do, oh, I need to sort this out in my room, I need to film, I need to do this. That sometimes I'm just like, hold on a second. None of this, the things that used to make me really happy and things, aren't anymore, because I'm not looking after myself as a priority. So the other day, I had so many things that I needed to do. It was my day off from work, and I was like getting so bummed out because I was like, there's so much that I have to do, but I just want to do nothing. So I was like, just do nothing then. It's literally not going to be the end of the world. So I spent the whole day in bed, and I have not done that in, I cannot tell you how long. Like the last time was probably when I was sick, and before that I genuinely couldn't even tell you when the last time was. Probably before, over a year ago, before I went into full-time work and after I finished education. It has been so long since I've had that time to myself, and when I tell you I needed it, I needed it. Remember to prioritize yourself, even if people make you feel guilty, like, I've not seen you in this long, you've not spoken to me, you've not done this. Remember, it doesn't matter. Look after yourself first, because if you don't look after yourself, there's nothing positive that you can do for anyone else or for yourself. Because if you're not taking care of your primary needs, nothing else matters and nothing else will work the way you want it to. Also, be proud of yourself. So when you make little accomplishments and you do little things, little in other people's eyes, but they could be big to you, celebrate them. You don't need them to be like, oh, I got a whole degree, so now I'm gonna be proud of myself. Little things like, I went to the gym today, I'm proud of myself. I got up and I went and I did it and I feel better for it, and I'm working on myself, and I should be proud of myself for that. That is something that you should be proud of. Every little accomplishment, every little thing that you do which is a positive effect on yourself. You're doing something for yourself, you're doing something good for anyone, for someone else, for like your career, anything that you're doing which is positive, reward yourself for it. Just be like, yeah, do you know what, like, that was good, like, I'm proud of myself for that, like, yeah. Those things make such a big difference because it gives you a positive impact on yourself. It makes you feel positively about yourself. Even though you may not feel it, be like, hey, do you know what? Nah, that was a bit sick, you know? Like, that was good, that was hard for me to do, and I did it, and I smashed it. Like, yeah, like, I killed it. Like, give yourself that positive reinforcement and that encouragement, because it does make a big difference on how you see yourself. Also, finally, it is be humble and appreciate the small things in life. Be grateful for little things, like if you have food on your plate, if you have someone in your life that cares and loves for you and looks out for you, anything. The little things which we often take for granted, appreciate them and be grateful for them, because so many people don't have that available to them, or they're things that we overlook because we're so stressed and our mind is elsewhere that we don't notice all the positive things that we do have. And when you're appreciative for things in your life, it makes you so happy because you feel so grateful and privileged to have them. So that is another thing which is very important to do, and I feel like we often lose sight of. Okay guys, so that is the end of the video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it and found it useful. I hope that you took something away from this, and if you did, please let me know. I would love to know. And if there's any that I know I didn't cover everything, so if there's any that you would like to add to this or anything like that, drop them down in the comments and you might be able to help someone else that is scrolling through the comments. So thank you guys so much. Be positive, keep smiling, and I will see you all next time. Mwah. Bye guys.